brand new home, brand new plumbing system, but we decided to do a sewer scope anyways. And this is what we found. In Texas, when we offer on a home, we can do a option period in most cases. And during that option period, you as a buyer have an unrestricted right to terminate the contract for whatever reason. But mostly during this time is when you get your inspections done and identify all the problems with the house. One of these inspection options that you can select to do is a sewer scope. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what a sewer scope is, as glamorous as it may sound, and also I will dive into my professional opinion on whether or not it is worth it for you. My name is Bridget Schlegel. I am your Austin, Texas real estate agent. I specialize in relocation, new construction, and investment properties. And I work with people just like you all the time who find me here on YouTube and then reach out to buy their first home, move to Austin, Texas, or just learn more about the market out here. You can book a call with me down below. I'll have my calendar linked. We'll talk strategy about your particular situation, and we'll make a plan for your next move. A sewer scope is essentially a camera that is fed down on a really long line through your sewer system in underneath your foundation. It is looking for blockages, bellies in the line, which are dips in the line, breaks, roots that could cause a leak and ultimately make your plumbing system not function properly. I will preface by saying that sewer lines underneath the foundation can be one of the most costly repairs that a homeowner may go through at some time in their homeowner journey. A lot of times people never have to deal with it. However, there are certain situations where maybe the foundation has been cracking over time and that's causing, the plumbing underneath to shift, or in other cases, it's just a very old and corroded line. Lastly, we're also looking at, maybe improperly done plumbing systems or blockages such as construction material in a new home, which I will explain this whole story to you in just a second. And shockingly, there's a lot of agents out there and a lot of buyers who have never even heard of a sewer scope, let alone done one. The thought of there maybe being sewer issues is oftentimes a scary one for agents because that could totally kill a deal, right? Well, in my point of view, I'd always rather sleep well at night knowing what is below that foundation rather than just hope for the best. Now, doing this inspection is completely optional. You can totally opt out of it if you choose to. However, for my clients, I always present this as one of your options. The typical cost is $250, which for buyers who are still under an option period and they're not 100% sure they're going to close on this home may sound like a lot of money. That is completely non-refundable, right? However, I'm going to walk you through 2 examples of homes my buyers have closed on just in the last 2 months, in which doing a sewer scope has saved them quite possibly thousands of dollars and a lot of post-closing stress. What you're seeing right now is the sewer lines of a brand new construction home out here in Georgetown, Texas. Now, this home is a boutique builder, so we did have an option period, quite unlike buying directly from a larger builder such as Perry Homes or Brookfield, in which you don't have an option period, but you can still inspect. My buyers were a little bit hesitant on whether or not they should do a sewer scope because it is an extra $250 that's entirely non-refundable. However, they ended up opting into doing one just so they know what to expect in the long run. Now, in this first video, you can see this line is pretty clean because, again, it is brand new. Thankfully, we're not seeing any bellies in the line, which would be catching any water or debris. Now, I'm not an inspector, so I'm not drawing any definitive conclusions when I'm reviewing this sewer scope. We let the inspector do the talking when we're actually going through the inspection report. But I've seen a bunch of these sewer scopes, and this is one of the nicer, cleaner ones that I've seen. However, what happened next was crazy. Our inspector does this test where he turns on all the faucets in the house and he checks to see if the plumbing can still handle it, because it should be able to handle all the faucets running. And this is what it looked like. That's the overflow. That is bad. So essentially no water from the underground sewer system was able to get out to my buyer's septic tank. Thankfully, we have a great inspector, so he ended up putting his sewer scope down a second time, and this is what he found in that connection right before the septic tank. A huge blockage of, looks like toilet paper, right? So this is a problem, right? And as soon as I showed this to my clients, I could see they were relieved that this $250 didn't go to waste. We were able to renegotiate with the seller to make sure that they clean out this blockage and re-inspect it before the closing date. So here I'm going to show you what came out of this pipe.
Whoa!
What is that, a piece of steel?
Looks like a rock, or maybe, I can't really tell.
Wow, that is a big chunk of wood.
Wow. There it is. That was it.
Now, obviously that chunk of wood should not have been there, but sometimes there are accidents during a construction site and things fall down the pipes. Don't tell me how. I don't know how that could happen, but it does happen. And even if you have a new construction home, it is sometimes very beneficial to do this sewer scope and make sure that everything is functioning properly before you close on that property. Now, this next one that you're looking at, this is the sewer line of a 1940s home. Now, this particular section doesn't look 1940s right because the seller actually replaced part of the sewer line. Now, when we contracted the deal, the seller and listing agent were advertising that the plumbing had been replaced. However, I was very skeptical about this because replacing plumbing is a very high-ticket item to be redoing, and there wasn't any signs inside the house that the foundation had been messed with. So, like I had kind of expected when we're doing the sewer scope, this is what it looked like underneath the 1940s build. This sewer line is entirely corroded out, and it is very hard for our inspector to even push his camera through this. And what you also see here is there's multiple bellies in the line. The camera actually gets stuck in one here. What this is indicating is maybe there's a crack in the sewer line where that belly is, and water could be leaking out, but you can't see it even with the camera. Also, your toilet paper, any hair, things like that can catch onto this corrosion and cause a blockage over time. So ultimately, there's a lot of risks for having a corroded out line like that. It may not be failing immediately, however, it's clearly towards the end of its lifespan. Thankfully, because we had this video evidence and photos showing that there are multiple defects in the sewer line that is underneath the foundation, we were able to get a quote from a contractor and go back to the seller, and were able to negotiate an entire $10,000 off the sales price to help compensate for this inconvenience that my buyer is eventually going to have to deal with. So I like to use a sewer scope as a negotiation tool, but also just to protect buyers from, worst case scenario situations that can arise even on a new construction home. Of course, you as a buyer can always make up your own mind of whether or not you'd like to use a sewer scope inspection, and of course, which inspector you'd like to use in the first place. But sometimes that initial $250 non-refundable investment into this inspection can go a very long way in helping you be prepared for this house that you're about to take on, with as little financial consequences as possible. Home ownership is not easy, things break, there's deferred maintenance. Some areas of town have more foundation issues than other areas. The contractor quality can vary a lot from house to house. And ultimately, my goal as a real estate agent is to make sure that you are taken care of and that there's as little surprises as possible. If you'd like to work with me on your next home purchase here in Austin, Texas, I will make sure to look out for your best interests in any way possible. You can book a call with me down below. I look forward to speaking with you. And don't forget, real estate is more than just buying a house. It is long-term equity and financial stability for you and your families. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.